Hi, Dr. Ashley and Dr. Michael. How are you?
Hey, Angela.
We are so good. It is crazy windy here, but we're good. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm great. Things are going well.
Well, we're excited just to ask you some questions and see what's been happening on your end. So before you joined the program, what was going on in your love life? Like, what were the challenges that you were facing?
I would probably say, probably like every other woman on this phone call, that I felt like I was successful in the other areas of my life, work, family, friends, travel, all those other things. And I struggled to get a gentleman to become my boyfriend or get him to open up to me. And I couldn't figure out why I was having success. I wasn't having success. I'm like, it seems like I should, and I wasn't. And it felt like there's something missing, and I know it's not. I know it's got to be my approach to dating.
Okay. So you found that it wasn't necessarily that you weren't meeting men, but the men you were meeting just didn't seem to want to commit. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, a couple of people ghosted. Some would ask me out, and we would get through a few dates, and then it kind of just faded away. I feel like I was able to start the initial, but I could never get past, like, get into the long term and have that conversation about what the future looks like, because I think I'm looking back now, I realize I had not put my winning blueprint together, so I wasn't confident saying to them, this is what I want and need to be happy, so I kind of thought it would just automatically happen on its own, and it didn't just automatically happen on its own.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be confident about something that you're unsure about, right? That's not really formulated.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And so when you were in relationships before or in that dating process, do you feel like you kind of put your own needs to the side then because you weren't necessarily sure what they were?
Absolutely. I think in my mind, I thought the conversation he would bring it up and he would say, oh, I want to get married and have kids, and he would want the relationship to look like this, but that really never happened. It just kind of, we went along, and then sometimes it lasted, sometimes it didn't ever feel completely fulfilled. I didn't feel as if I was getting all my desires, needs, and wants met. It kind of felt like, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like, but I knew something about it didn't feel 100% right.
Okay. So you were kind of going through the motions of the dating process or the relationship and just kind of expecting that either it would just happen or maybe he would bring it up, but you weren't necessarily sure like what your exact needs were, and you weren't sharing them directly with the person that you were dating.
I definitely was not sharing with him directly what I wanted. That was like my number one mistake. I knew that I wanted a commitment from someone and the long term, but I was never vocal with it.
Okay. So what's been going on for you in the past few weeks? This is your like 11th or 12th week in the program, right?
Yeah. Once I met you guys in the beginning of the year, I to a T followed every piece of advice. It was very comforting to listen to the other women on the calls and know that, oh my God, that's been my whole life. That's been my whole thought process. And I knew that I needed to understand why people operated, what they do. So I did exactly what you said. I'm in sales, so I thought it was always so funny that you guys said you should think of it like it as an abundance, not a scarcity mindset. And so I got on like 2-3 different websites, Match and eHarmony, and I did Bumble, which is the dating app. And then my friends knew that I was really serious about meeting someone this year. But I started instead of only having one person, I started talking to multiple people at the same time, setting up lots of dates. And I think that really changed the mindset for me because I never got too bogged down when one guy fell out or one guy did call with a day. It was like I had 3 other people calling, so I got to be they got to see me in my true self. I was never anxious or like worried about the next person calling because I always had a date lined up because you guys said you should I think one of the things I did was I said to myself, like, I spent a lot of time traveling and going, and I actually said I'm going to make a serious commitment to stay home on the weekends and to travel less for work, because I felt as if I wasn't home, I couldn't go on these lunch dates, dinner dates, bowling dates. I wasn't around. I had to slow down a bit to meet somebody.
So you feel like actually getting more people in your pipeline helped you to have more of an abundance mindset, and then which that also helped you to be more authentically you, because you had less fear, less kind of insecurity when you were dating someone.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's funny how it faded away. Like, it didn't even seem, that feeling never didn't even, I was never nervous. I would go on these dates. I would look nice. I would get dressed. I would be appropriate and look cute, but I never felt like I had to go over the top to be any one thing, because I didn't put all my eggs in one basket for one person. I was like, oh, this guy thinks I'm cool and fun. He asked me out again, so somebody must be something, like your mindset shift. I'm like, he must be, I'm like, fun and cool. Yeah. Let's go out again.
Well, and isn't it interesting the parallels between dating and even what you do in sales, right? If you don't have lead generation, if you don't have leads coming into your funnel, it doesn't matter how good of a salesperson you are, you're going to have a scarcity mindset, and you're not going to be making sales, right? So it's interesting, just some of the parallels there.
It's like so funny. I don't know why I never really applied it to my personal life this much. And then I think a couple other things. I would go on these dates with these gentlemen, and we wouldn't ever. I was always wondering why they wouldn't ask me about work, and I realized maybe it was me, I became more vulnerable and really talked about because you guys said you should tell them on your date 1 or date 2. I had moved back from D.C. to Philadelphia. So I think probably on every first date, I end up saying, like, I moved back, I wanted to settle down, I really wanted to start a family. No, everyone on those first dates did ask me out. No one actually was like, oh, I don't want to do that. So once I started saying these are the things I wanted, they're like, yeah, of course, that's what I want too. And I was like, oh, you do? And it was in my mind, it was a lot of them, some of them were like, okay, this is great, this is exactly what I want. It has been like, I am probably the happiest I've been in I don't know how long. And it was a lot of hard work. Like, I didn't settle on date guy 1 or 2, but I realized there's a lot of great men in the world who really do want to step up into my winning blueprint. And it was about me finding out what somebody that I really felt very compatible with. Like you guys, you told us, like, make sure you know who you're compatible with. Make sure you know what you really want in life. And once you do, you really get to see, like, he's a great guy, but you know what? Long term, I won't be happy with, this or that.
Yeah.
And that was really important to me. And I think the other thing I found out I was being more vulnerable and actually telling people how I feel was something I think I came off as a very strong, independent woman, and I think it was kind of it turned men off. Like, they want to feel wanted and needed and respected too. And so one guy actually said to me, I don't want to be in a relationship with a woman who doesn't need me. And they want to feel like they're part of a relationship and a partnership. I learned to be more grateful, like you guys said, like, oh my God, you picked a great restaurant. You look so nice tonight. Like, you do such a good job. I really appreciate when you pick me up for this date. And I used to just assume that was their job, like, that's the man's side of the role. But I look back and I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, I look at my mom and dad who've been married 45 years, and my mom is always still giving my dad compliments. And there's, look how great your father is. And my dad gets all excited when, like, how happy my mom does when she says nice things and compliments him.
That's amazing. I mean, it seems like you really kind of took the whole winning blueprint and kind of understanding what works for you and your needs, and you've really ran with that and being able to express it in a very nonchalant way and put it out there in a non-pressuring way that really seems to have started working for you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I have a boyfriend. I got everything else. I mean, I went on 10 different dates on 10 different guys. On the 11th date, 7th guy, I found the guy. And I went on 6 dates before. I was like, I really do think we are a good fit. And obviously, there's things to be still conversed about. But he's like, let's go on vacation next month. I just feel so easy. It feels weirdly easy around him. And
Yeah.
I'm still applying all the things you guys have coached us on, and I still see everything everything just keeps getting better and better and better.
That's so awesome, Angela. I think I heard quite a few important things that you said. First you said, like, just that foundation of the abundance mindset was really helpful for you. And it's interesting how we can have that in one area of our life or in many other areas of our life, but it can be more challenging to have it in our relationships. So I love it that you really touched on that. And, you also, it sounds like, really focused on having that unbeatable mindset and the gratitude that carried you through, having something not work out with one particular person and helped you continue to be in a position of being the chooser and not the chaser. And some other things some good distinctions that I think you made is that you really made space in your life to make this a priority, and you stuck with it. And that with the clarity that you've gotten through, going through these different phases of the program, you also were able to be more vulnerable and to put yourself in a position where you were actually giving men compliments as you were laying out your winning blueprint. And that's something that men never get, and we don't realize how important it is.
Oh my gosh, yes. He helped me hang up curtain rods last night. I'm like, you're great. You're such it's great to have you around. He was like, thank you. I can do them all for you. He brought the drill over, and I didn't even ask him to. He just brought the drill over because he knows I needed it done. It was just like, I'm like, you're so awesome. He's like, thank you so much. It's just I can see how just adjusting these last 90 days, how different my dating relationships, and how it has a long-term effect.
Yeah. But can I ask you a question? Because I think even when we know our winning blueprint, I feel a lot of times we have a hesitancy to share it because we have a fear of how someone's going to react to it. So how did you get through that sort of fear of how someone's going to react to your winning blueprint and be able to put it out there anyway?
I honestly think I turned 37. I was 36 late last year. And I said, I don't know why I'm still single. And this is why I hired you guys, in all honesty, because I needed to know the psychology. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to put it all out there. I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to do. They have a psychology background, and I'm going to see how it works.
Okay.
And I guess the first guy told me, I said he was a little eager, but he was very, after 4 dates, he's like, I love you. And I'm like, okay, it was too much for me.
I remember that. I remember that.
Myself, wow. And it was like for me, it was I was like, if everyone is going to even be 50% of this person, I know that men want these things too. And I knew that if I continued on the same path that I have been doing, and I didn't give my all trying a different approach, then I would still wake up a year from now and still be single. I would still wake up 5 years from now and not be married. I just knew once I wrote it down, I think really writing your winning blueprint down and having that mission statement and kind of I took a lot of notes on these calls. I go back and reread things when I feel like I could be having an off day. I make sure I listen to these calls every week. I read those things in Facebook. And I keep remembering that I hired you guys with a purpose and that you're truly here to help us. And I just have a lot of faith and trust in what you're trying to accomplish for each of us on this call.
I'm so glad you chose to trust us.
Yeah,
because
I did too.
And you really committed to the process, and that's what we say to encourage and inspire everybody in the group. Is like, if you keep taking the steps, your success is guaranteed, right? Like, as long as you've taken those steps, then you're going to get to the point where you're going to meet the right person.
Absolutely. I just think I had so many nice things come out of these last 10 gentlemen. I feel like there's so many great guys in the world. I feel like if I had friends, I would set them up with them. I didn't realize how many great people there are and how much they really wanted to do for women and how they want to be in a relationship. And some people are like, oh my God, I'm just so drawn to you, and I don't even know why. And I said to you, that's like saying, I know why, exactly I know why. But I just feel like if you follow the program and you really commit to it, and even though you have a off day, just keep building a pipeline. Like when I was like getting down to 2 guys, I was like, you know what? Let me respond to this guy and match, because I don't know what's going to happen with these 2. So I always had somebody, and I never worried. Because I always had a pipeline of like 3 or 4 people I was talking to.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing with everybody. I know that, it's really inspiring for the other women in the group to look forward to having the same experience that you've had. So
Good luck, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. Have an awesome day.